Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and back to some more Standard 2022. You could not keep me away from it for too long. This format is sweet. Today we're going to be playing around with a deck that I did play on a live stream in the past, but it was during a really long losing streak, so it was kind of hard to evaluate how good the deck actually was. I've since tweaked it, because I think that there were some issues with the deck nonetheless. Not all of the losses were entirely just terrible luck. But let's talk about it, shall we? It's a deck that we've actually played in the past as well. It was a Huey Jensen build, if I remember correctly. And it's built around Magecraft, kind of, but also the namesake card, Mavinda, Student's Advocate. A 3-mana 2/3 with flying. Says you may cast an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. If that spell doesn't target a creature you control, it costs 8 more to cast this way, and if it were put into the graveyard, you exile it instead. You can only do this once each turn, so twice per turn cycle, one on our opponent's turn, one on our turn, and it allows us to cast all of our instants and sorceries again. That's really good for cards that have the keyword Magecraft, and we've got a fair few of them, and honorary Magecraft as well, Clarion Spirit, which cares about kind of second spells and it does a thing. So, Magecraft is triggered whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell. So in the case of Clever Lumomancer, 1-mana 0/1, it gets +2/+2 whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery. Leonin Lightscribe gives +1/+1 to each of your creatures whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, and Dragon's Guard Elite gets a counter whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery. So that's pretty cool. It maintains all of its power over a long term. You can also pay 6, which isn't going to happen very often, to double the number of counters on Dragon's Guard Elite, effectively, but not literally, doubling its power. So, let's talk about the spells we're going to be casting, because we have quite a lot of them. This is the pile right here. So we have Guiding Voice, which is a 1-mana sorcery. A +1/+1 counter gets put on a creature, and then you get to learn. So we have a sideboard full of lesson cards, Environmental Sciences being the main one we're going to pick quite a lot of the time. A 2-mana colorless spell that allows us to get a basic land, reveal it, and put it into our hand. So this really aids in the double cast of spells on your turn. So we can Environmental Sciences into a land, into a charge through, a Snakeskin Veil, or anything like that to trigger the Clarion Spirit. So that's kind of nice. And also, double Magecraft triggers, always nice. Reduce to Memory is a little bit of removal for non-land permanents. It's kind of like a bad Banishing Light. Gives your opponent a 3/2 when it resolves. But it gets rid of Planeswalkers, enchantments, artifacts, literally anything you might want to get rid of. Speaking of, Containment Breach gets rid of artifacts and enchantments, and if there are 2 mana value or less, then you get a pest token, which goes really nice with your Lightscribe, which is why we've got some pest summonings. I don't actually know if you want 2 pest summonings. I've never really cast this card in the time that I've been playing it, but it seems like it might be kind of a good spell with Lightscribe around, so that's why I've got 2 of them. You could also go for Mascot Exhibition, but I think it's a little bit more on the expensive side of things, considering we are a 21 land deck, and we do not have MDFCs, or the spell-based MDFCs anyway. Finally, Expanded Anatomy is kind of like it's a really good pump spell. And most of our spells are pump spells in a roundabout fashion. This one literally is. It puts 2 counters on a creature, and then it gives it Vigilance until the end of the turn. So just an extra little bit of pumping. Put that on a Clarion Spirit token. We've got a 3/3 with Vigilance. It's pretty disgustingly good. But yeah. So that's our learn package. We have Blizzard Brawl. This was the newer addition to the deck from the last time I played it. We didn't really have any removal. We just tried to go extremely quick and beat our opponent, which is why I had like 4 Show of Confidence at the time. Brought that back down to 2. It's a good spell, and it will win you games, but it's conditionally good, I guess you could say. And as long as you've got 1, then you Mavinda can pick it out, and then you've effectively got 2. So we're running a virtual 4 copies of Show of Confidence anyway, which I think is more than enough in that regard. But yeah, Blizzard Brawl allows you to fight if you've got snow-covered basics and the Arctic tree lines and things like that. If you've got 3 snow permanents, then it gets +1/+0 and indestructible, and then you fight, which is nice. So our creatures get very large. Lumomancer gets very big very quick. Light Scribe helps to get things very big very quick, and Dragon's Guard Elite is usually always very big very quickly, so this should hit just about anything you need it to hit. Charge Through gives trample to a creature and allows us to draw a card. The one thing that we really missed out on with this deck from the rotation is Defiant Strike, which was a 1 mana +1/+0 and draw a card. We have lost out on that effect, which certainly hurts the deck a little bit, but with the power level of Standard 2022, it actually kind of gets countered out a little bit. We don't necessarily need it as much, and we have new tools, because the reason why you would want to draw lots of cards is usually to get your hexproof base effects. So we've got Snakeskin Veil here, putting a counter on a creature you control and giving it hexproof until the end of the turn. We'd want to be digging for cards like that quite a lot of the time, but we did also, from the new D&D set, get access to Wild Shape. 1 green instant, can either turn your creature into a 3/3 with trample, which in the case of like Lumamancer is a +3/+3 effect and trample, or a +1/+1 and trample for Light Scribe. You get the idea. But it also allows us to make a 1/3 with hexproof. So again, it has that effect of Snakeskin Veil, potentially even, you know, putting a counter on Dragon's Guard Elite, or making it a really good blocker as well, since it gives it that huge booty. Finally, as we've mentioned, Show of Confidence is one of our finisher cards. We've run it down to 2 copies, because it's really nice when you get one of them. Several of them, not always nice. So we've got 2 copies here. It might want to be 3, but right now I'm feeling comfortable with the 2 that we've got right now. It seems to be effective. 2 mana, instant speed. When you cast this spell, copy it for each other instant or sorcery spell you've cast this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies, and that's one of the reasons why I've gone down it as well, is because it's not a good top deck on its own. It needs the assistance of other 1 mana spells and cantrips and things like that to up the storm count, if you will. What it does, though, is it puts a counter on a creature, and that creature gets +1/+1 and vigilance until the end of the turn. So we can use this after blocks to get ourselves a lethal attacking threat that our opponent might not have seen coming, by going like Charge Through, Snakeskin Veil, Show of Confidence, getting 3 copies of Show, +3/+3. But also, as well, it should be noted, the copies of Show of Confidence trigger Magecraft, because this says whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell. So the more copies of Show of Confidence we have on the stack, the more Magecraft triggers we get. So if you think about Leon and Light Scribe, for Show of Confidence, that's a +2/+2, but for every other copy, we also mimic that as well. So this allows us to make some very, very large creatures very quickly. All of this pile here as well is usable by Mavinda without having to pay the extra 8 there, which is super, super useful. But yeah, that's essentially the deck. I think it will explain itself during the gameplay, and if you do enjoy the gameplay, I would really, really appreciate it if you do hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this in the future. We're going to be playing quite a lot of Standard 2022, so if you're into this kind of thing, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. We also play a lot of Brawl here as well, so if that's a format you appreciate, then hopefully this channel will make you feel right at home. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and let's get to it. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty then, on the play, which is great. This hand only has 1 creature. We can protect it if we played it on turn 3, which would actually trigger Clarion Spirit as well. I'm going to keep this one. We really kind of hope that we draw another creature, though, because it would suck if this thing died. Hey, would you look at that? Alright. Well, I think we'll lead with Dragon's Guard Elite here. See if our opponent's playing blue-black. They might already have the answer to the Elite. Blue-red. With Hall of the Storm Giants? Maybe it's like a Grixis list. I've heard Grixis is a thing. And we've got a Mavinda. Alright. So, we are going to not play into removal. So I want to leave open Snakeskin Veil at all times. What I think that means is we're going to go with Clarion Spirit so that we can add to the board. But we're not going to aggressively play any of our 1-drops here. We'll use these two aggressively with this on defense for our opponent's turn. Like, if they're going to go and try and kill something here... Whoops, that's my second spell triggered. And that's how that works. Okay. They did reveal a Goldspan Dragon, so... I don't know. Maybe they're still just playing Is It Dragons? Typically you see Snow Mana, but our opponent has every non-basic known to man available to them. Alright, here what we've got is a situation where I do not have protection. So I could play Mavinda because I have a spare one, or I could go with the Guiding Voice and Crash Through. Crash Through draws you a card, Guiding Voice basically draws you a card. It's not likely to find me protection though. But if I went with Mavinda, then I open up Snakeskin Veil for a follow-up, and if it dies, I don't really care. Because I have a spare. So I think that's how we're going to take this line, and then we got a really good follow-up turn. No snow-covered island. Opponent foretells a card. And another card. Alright. Is there a world where I win? I don't think so. I don't believe it's possible. I'm going to go... I think Guiding Voice on Mavinda. I would like to get it to a point where it can survive blocking the Goldspan Dragon as well as survive a Dragon's Fire. We only have 2 mana. What card am I likely to want here? We don't have any removal, so getting some removal might be just fine. Though more aggression is also welcome. Like if I just go Environmental Sciences here, that triggers Dragon's Guard Elite. We grab the Snow-Covered Forest here. That way I can hold up and Snakeskin Veil. Opponent's at 5, and I have protection. So they should be dead. They need a sweeper. So there's Goldspan Dragon. Can't afford to attack. We can go with a charge through here. Because our opponent's just going to be dead anyway. We already have everything we need to win the game. So charge through here. Gives it trample. Swing through. And opponent can't block enough to live. 2 Alrund's Epiphanies. They never find the singular Alrund's Epiphany. It's always double them up and go crazy. So, realistically, from 20, we would be pretty nearly dead with just double Epiphany, most likely, because Goldspan Dragon generates treasures every single time it gets to attack, and that's going to help them a lot. So if they got a land, they would take an extra turn, have a 4/4 and a 2/2, generate some mana, take an extra turn, hit me for 6, draw an extra card. You know, it's a lot of damage, is basically my point. And they've still got cards they haven't played yet. Yeah, Alrund's Epiphany is one of those frustrating cards that, if we're going to ban a card based off it being frustrating, like the Tome, or the Book of Exalted Deeds, then can we ban this because this is frustrating? That would be nice. But anyway, we win, so on to the next game. Alrighty, we're in, and while we technically have 2 creatures, we don't have any castable creatures. So I think this is a mull. It's easy mull on the draw as well. Blizzard Brawl's kind of nice, but yeah. That's all I can really say on this hand. It's just not feasible. This one's a little better. again, it kind of doesn't have all the things it needs. I.e., a good creature that we can protect, but we're going to keep this one. We'll go down the Guiding Voice. I think having a charge through in the graveyard in case we draw a Mavinda is kind of nice. Gives us that redraw effect. Okay, Snarl, a Dryad. So our opponent's probably playing a deck that tops out at Coma. Hits me for 1. Double Clarion Spirit. Now that is going to be really good for us. Spirit resolves. Dryad sacks. Get some of Forest. Yeah, so we're going to be able to go Spirit, Guiding Voice, which is going to be nice. We can even get the exile-based effect to deal with Coma, which is cool. So let's play Snow-Covered Forest. Let's play Clarion Spirit. Let's play Guiding Voice. Double trigger. Would be nicer if we could use the Guiding Voice on a token, but I think we'll just do this. It's fine, because I want to get this reduced to memory to deal with future comas. And we'll pass the turn. So they're almost at Hardcast Coma. They've got a Mordenkainen. Okay. That's real bad.
I can create your doom in dog form.
That's kind of real good. So then. Could turn it into a 3-2. We can just kill Mordenkainen here by wild shaping a token. I could also 1-drop, Show of Confidence, put some counters on my flyers, and then that'll get me really where I need to go. Kinda like that. So let's make this a 3-3 with Trample. Let's redraw. And given this Trample, make some spirits. And then let's Show of Confidence. We technically don't need to pump up this token here because it's already going to kill the Mordenkainen, so let's go counters here. I guess we'll spread it a little bit. You. And our board state's looking kind of nice. So we have an answer to future non-land permanents, which probably are Coma. And we've got a hefty board state here with lots and lots of spirits. Opponent's going nice and empty-handed, so that Mordenkainen token is really bad. And they're passing. Our top deck there was pretty bad as well, admittedly. So we're just going to get in with all the tokens. Because this game should be over relatively quickly at this rate. And I don't really care about anything on board right now. Not anything that I would prefer to be a 3-2 anyway. Because I can just take all of this damage here. So they get to learn. What's the best thing they could do? They could get Mascot Exhibition. Is that really about it? That might be about it. Teachings of the Archaics. I guess that allows them to... yeah, draw 2. So they could maybe use that to find a good answer. This gives me one of these as 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if they didn't block the Clarion Spirits, which they are guaranteed to, then I would have lethal. So we'll just hold the Wild Shape as a hexproof option, because we're going to put our opponent pretty damn low anyway. And I don't imagine they really have a good answer to this. Oh, nope. I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, if I played Reduced to Memory, actually I would be able to level up my spirits. I get a 3-2 and I get 2 spirits doing this. That might actually be worth it. Again, I don't imagine they've really got an answer to all these flyers. So the more the merrier here on the attack. And we were saving it for a coma, but a coma doesn't help them. They can tap one creature and then they're dead to everything else. In Simic, what else could they have? I guess Sauron's Epiphany is almost certainly in their deck. That would get them some flyers. But one Alrund's Epiphany means they block, and die to the other 3. Wow. Cyclone Summoner. Oh boy. Okay, well they're still dead to Wild Shape on a token now. Alright, they did have an answer. Gonna dig. They've got 4 mana remaining. So this only has an ETB. They've got a coma, so that keeps them alive. If they sack their 3/3 to stop me hitting them for 1. Which, hopefully, as far as they're aware, is all they have to concern themselves with. Because then we get them. So we go to combat, we see if they want to tap. If they don't tap, they lose. Looks like they're gonna tap. They actually might win now. Yeah. I can't believe we're gonna lose now. Maybe the Reduced to Memory there was a bit greedy. I just didn't think that they'd be playing Cyclone Summoner. This card just has not been on my radar at all. Maybe it should be. Okay, tap that. Attacks with the team. I have to block something. So I'll block right there. And I need a... I think a Show of Confidence would get me the game here. Because I hexproof up my token in response to the Coma's Coil. Yeah, I mean, just more lands. That'll do, pig. That'll do. That sucks. Yeah, I guess if we went with the Reduced to Memory on the Coma instead, we actually win. Which is what we were saving it for, admittedly, but... yeah, just didn't play around the Summoner. And punished thoroughly. Next game. Alright, we play first. We've got a 3-creature hand. And we've got some setup time with it as well. So we're going to keep this one. Gonna go Arctic Tree Line first. And then probably gonna drop down... probably gonna just drop down the Lumamancer. I think I'm just gonna play them in their order all the same. The issue is I don't have like a Snakeskin Veil, which kind of sucks. And they are on red, not snow-covered mountains, so no frostbites. Red, white? Can't think of what this deck could be. Rip apart, sure. We've got a Blizzard Brawl. So everything dies to rip apart, so I'm just gonna keep playing like this. And we live. Very nice. I'm actually just gonna... This is sorcery speed. I'm gonna try and Guiding Voice here to get an Environmental Sciences. That way I can hump again and make my land drop, thinning the deck. I think that's a nice little option. Hit you for 5. Play a Lumimancer. And then I would argue they're in a lot of trouble next turn, if they don't do anything meaningful. Is there any sweepers in Boros that I have to worry about? Pyro? Or Cinderclasm, whatever it is? It doesn't hit my Light Scribe. Really, the thing that I would like is a protection spell. I've got plenty of them in my deck. I have Mavinda Guiding Voice. I think I'll just play Mavinda anyway. And then I can Guiding Voice from the graveyard. Hide a little bit of information in my hand, perhaps.
I shall teach you much.
I think that's the line we're going to take. And let's think about the removal they could have. I think most of the removal they could have is just going to kill any of my creatures. So let's go after the one that doesn't deal damage on its own as our target for the voice. And I guess at this point we just... Well, we've got Blizzard Brawl and it's activated. Maybe we just go with the Expanded Anatomy. Could also go for the Pest Summoning because we do have Light Scribe now, which allows us to go wide and rebuild somewhat. Yeah, I might need a creature follow-up later. So they're taking 8 now. This would be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So not dead. But they are just dead next turn. I'm not going to commit more to this board because it won't make a difference. It wasn't going to kill them. And it comes with a certain risk. This way I'm also pretending that I have Snakeskin Veil, which they will want to try and respect. There's a red dragon, 4 damage to each opponent. Yeah, don't care about that. Adult Gold Dragon. Alright, well, let's see if they want to attack with that, because I'm going to be able to push through it. Alright, so they're going to gain a little bit of life. I'm not going to block. And I can certainly 11 them from here. That is probably not an issue. So they'll have to do a little bit more. So maybe a Dragon's Fire on Lumimancer or Light Scribe here would keep them in the game. Yep, sure. It's Goldspan Dragon. And we don't have anything, so... Now we see if we can 11 our opponent. There are certainly draws that get it done. That's not one of them. So, Guiding Voice. Let's suit up Mavinda a bit. Expanded Anatomy is 2 counters and Vigilance. So taking 6, this would be 7, 8, 9, 10. and then I brawl my own creature. Can I do that? No. That would put them to 1 then. Environmental Sciences is worth 2. And then that lets me Pest Summoning, which is worth 4. 3, 6. Let's go with the Expanded Anatomy. This gives me extremely large creatures. I guess we have the Guiding Voice as well, so we actually do win. Forgot about the Mavinda here. Yep, that'll do it. Let's take whatever. And swing. Forgot I hadn't already activated Mavinda, so it wasn't really getting factored into my math there, but yeah, turns out we actually had easy lethal there. Pretty sweet. Yeah, I mean, if you got like a Lumimancer on board and you've got any amount of cards in your hand that are spells, you can realistically start looking for lethal when they're on half their health. This card is extremely powerful and underrated by most opponents I seem to go up against, so yeah, it's nice when they don't respect it and you get to show them why they should have. And yeah, on to the next game. Alrighty, we're on the play, and we got no creatures, so other than targeting our opponent with these crash throughs, we got nothing to do. Oh, this sounds so close to being good. If we had a white source, I would snap this hand. But we don't, so down to 5. And sure. I think this is a hand where Mavinda goes. And might need the 3rd land, and the Guiding Voice might get us there. Maybe it's just a Blizzard Brawl. That requires me to have a living creature, and I don't have a way of protecting Dragon's Guard Elite, so let's just assume I don't have a living creature, and I would rather have a card that could be used on other options. So now we have to ask ourselves, is it worth it to play Dragon's Guard Elite here, which could die to Dragon's Fire? I'm going to say no. They might foretell next turn as well, if they have a Saw It Coming or the Behold the Multiverse. There you go. Ooh, and we even got ourselves a Wild Shape. So do I want double white or triple green? I guess that actually answers the question right away. Let's go Dragon's Guard Elite. And we are going to pass the turn. We could make it a 4-4, but it can die to Dragon's Fire in our opponent's deck, so we'll hold up in the Wild Shape instead, which should help us get it out of range. So we can use this to give hexproof, which is nice. We're not going to play into removal. Show of confidence, nice. So let's go Guiding Voice. See if they want to remove. I imagine they do. They have a Frostbite. It's only dealing 2 right now, so if I just do this, they need another option. All of these triggers are still going on, and if they have another Frostbite, then I do this, and I give it Trample. That seems pretty good. Alright, we got a Mavinda. We are up against dragons, so we don't need to get the enchantment removal. Pest Summoning could be an option. I think I'm just more likely to want... honestly, maybe even Expanded Anatomy. Yeah, I mean... I don't know how they beat a 7/7 that can then grow even larger than that down the line. If I drew a land, I've got Mavinda to make it an 8/8 with Trample, so they're far too behind. Blown out by double removal into double spell, reactionary spell. Pretty sweet. On to the next one. Alrighty, opponent goes first. We have a single creature, and we have protection for it as well. We could play it slowly by going double Tree Line and then on 3 play Light Scribe. It's a bit slow. If we draw a creature, then I might pivot off that plan to something else, but for now I think that's the line we're going to take. So Demir for them. We did get another creature. I think Light Scribe is the worst creature here. So let's throw that out to potential removal. One just for tells, wow. So we have to concern ourselves with Crippling Fear and Shadow's Verdict. Crippling Fear is 4 mana, Shadow's Verdict is 5. I think I'm just going to play Dragon's Guard Elite out here. And then we'll go Guiding Voice, the Light Scribe. This allows us to pump up both creatures with counters so that they get around that Crippling Fear. And I think that the Dragon's Guard Elite's more powerful, so it's getting more damage now. And also, let's take a Reduce to Memory for Planeswalkers, I think. More damage now and protect in the long term. I'd love more Wild Shape effects, so Snakeskin Veil off the top would be nice. So which creature is guaranteed to die here? Poison the Cup of the Elite. Okay. Fair enough. It is the one that maintains all of its power over time, so would make sense there. Clarion Spirit. Yeah, I'll take that. If I charge through, I get a token. But then I don't get to hold open my Wild Shape. I think I want to hold open Wild Shape. It might just be too greedy to not protect here. Opponent goes for a flunk. So I say, It has hexproof now. And then we go off. So we've got +1, +1, +1, +2, +2. We're just gonna do it. I don't know if this is enough, but it's too juicy not to take the option here, especially considering we're redrawing. We're getting lots of triggers. And then we even get to go Show of Confidence here. You have Vigilance. So I've got to think about the Crippling Fear. So this is now going to be a 3/3 on the end step, so it needs another counter. This is a 3/3, so it needs a counter. So this needs another. And we get some Magecraft triggers as well. Ah, actually. Math. Thinking way too far ahead, I think. I love this deck. This deck's so sweet. It does involve a little bit of basic math, and you've got to consider all of the factors as well. Magecraft does care about copies of things, and yeah, this is basically a +2/+2 for each copy, which I definitely wasn't considering. I thought I would really kind of almost kill my opponent, and then they would untap and scoop, and actually do the math to figure out that I would literally kill them there at -5. But there you go, that's what this deck can do. It just wins sometimes. It's pretty sweet. And that is going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. And if you have, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're playing in Standard 2022. Really interested to see what you guys have been coming up with. So let me know down below. And other than that, I hope you've had a great day. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Ta-ra.